I feel like that, you know that character from Monsters Inc. who has like the snakes in her hair and they're alive and they like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's how I feel. Good morning everybody and welcome to another installment in my no-poo video series kind of thing. In this video, I'm trying out RYE FLOUR. I swear by the RYE FLOUR method and I was quite shocked to find how incredible it is. Anyway, I will let you go and watch the video and the process and then I'll meet you here in a little bit. Okay, so here is a list of what you're going to need. First of all, some RYE FLOUR. That is pretty much a given. You're also going to need 2 containers. Now these are just old ones I found in the cupboard, but yours can obviously be prettier. And then you're going to need, these are just basically stockings as socks. So lederhosen, whatever you want to call them, just some sort of a gauze that you can filter things through, and you're going to need 2 of them. So what I did is I opened up one of my jars and I poured in probably equivalent to 3 tablespoons of RYE FLOUR. Now these measurements can differ depending on how much you need to use, but about 3 tablespoons worked for 1 wash of my pretty long hair. So if yours is shorter, go with 1 tablespoon, mid-length 2 tablespoons. My long hair is 3 tablespoons. Then you're going to combine that with about 1 to 5 parts water. So if you have 3 tablespoons of RYE FLOUR, you're going to add 3 times 5 tablespoons of water, which is 15. Anyway, just play it by ear, use your eye. It doesn't have to be perfect. But yeah, that's just a general guide. It's about 1 part RYE FLOUR to 5 parts water. And then you screw on the lid. So this container needs a lid, I forgot to mention. And then you're just gonna shake it up real good so that all those little gritty bits get nice and absorbed. Absorbed is not the right word, but anyway, you'll see that you can kind of see bubbles forming, which I thought was so strange, so weird. Who would have thought that flour can produce bubble-like consistency? Anyway, then you unscrew that and then you pour it through the gauze into your other container. Now, mine got a little bit stuck because it was quite a thin or fine material rather. So yeah, just work that through as you go, pouring little bit by little bit, and make sure you get all of that sediment in the bottom through the stocking or whatever it is that you are using. So yeah, here I'm just like helping it along a little bit. It was not the most cooperative. Yep, so just pouring that last bit in. And here is where it gets a little bit messy. So usually I do this in the shower so that any residue just goes down the drain and it's no problem. But you'll want to just basically start squeezing the moisture out of your little stocking thing. And that takes a while. I twist it, I squeeze it, I just try and get as much moisture out as I possibly can. This takes a little while. It's a bit of a process, not gonna lie. And then once that's starting to come out, you'll notice that the excrement, or whatever it's called, is really quite shampoo-y. Like it feels like a drugstore shampoo. It feels thick and sort of jelly-like. Doesn't smell like shampoo, it just smells, well, kind of like flour. But yeah, towards the end, it's a little bit difficult to get rid of all of that jelly. You really have to try. Now, if anyone has tried the RYE FLOUR method and has a better way of doing this, please let me know. I'd be very interested because it was a bit of a process. But yeah, that's basically what you do. And yeah, when you're done, you should have like a thin shampoo-like consistency and it should be sort of opaque somewhat. And then when you're finished, you'll find that you basically have a little ball of semi-moist flour. So I chuck that in the bin because it's disgusting. And that's it there. You can see there's some sediment still rolling around. And as you will see later, this has a little bit too much, in fact, a lot too much sediment. But yeah, that's generally the consistency you're going for. Okie dokie, time for the big reveal. I've been sitting here for about 3 hours with this in because I've been working and I forgot I had it on until just now. So let's have a look, shall we? So I can't see very much. Oh, never mind. There's a little bit of sort of, oh dear. Check this out. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but as I'm scratching my head, see all that stuff falling? Oh no. Yuck. Didn't do this last time, but this time it seems as though I haven't strained it well enough. So anyway, that's that. Yum yum. Delicious. Aside from the obvious dandruff problems, we'll see how it dries, I suppose. I mean, other than that problem, it feels clean. It doesn't feel oily. Like my test is always to like run my fingers through, really like get the scalp and then rub them together and see if I get any like oiliness. But this is pretty clean. It's like a 9 out of 10 clean. Not as clean as the ACV makes it. Sorry, the baking soda makes it. That's like extra clean. But this one, yeah, it feels good. So I'll let this dry. I'm gonna go on a walk and I'll be back soon. It doesn't look that good right now. It looks kind of nasty, but you know, wet hair and dry hair are very different things, as I've discovered along this no-poo journey. So, I gotta clean up all this junk now. Hey Josh, what do you think of my hair?
Yeah, you're very nice.
Is it really?
You got the good one.
Is it actually?
I can with the middle part and the middle and the side part.
Oh, your hair.
Oh, your hair.
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering because I used, guess what I used actually, guess.
Hobo oil.
Not hobo oil.
You always use the hobo oil.
I do always use jojoba oil. Jojoba? It's really offensive actually. No, guess what I used? To wash it.
Soap nuts.
No, not yet. No, I'm not there yet.
Flaxseed.
No, not yet.
Olive oil leaf extract.
I use rye flour.
I'm gluten intolerant.
I know, smell. It's not bad, stop it. It's actually quite good, right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm actually really happy. I did a different method this time because the first time I had flour falling out of my hair for a week. But this time I made anyway, I'll show you guys. Ready? I'm gonna show you now. So this is to illustrate a bit of a different take on the rye flour method, and this is how I've adopted it over time and just made it so much easier. So I put in the same 1 part rye flour to 5 parts water, and I just mix that up, shake it up a bit. And then from there, the method is a little bit easier. So what I do is I grab my empty container and I just pour the liquid straight into a regular cotton sock. And as you can see, that liquid's already falling out of the bottom there. No little pieces of rye flour to be seen. It's amazing. So yeah, you just squeeze that a few times. It'll kind of run up the sock, so you gotta keep pulling it down. But yeah, with this method, I got none of the granules. I got, a much smoother, more easy to use liquid that behaves exactly like shampoo. So I just apply this to my hair like normal shampoo. As you can see, it's a much more simple method. And then afterwards, I just, discarded the stuff in the sock, wash up, and then that amount of liquid is good to go for maybe 2 washes. So much simpler. Would highly recommend using a material that has a tighter weave than a stocking. A cotton sock works well, but you could probably also use like a tea towel, maybe even an old t-shirt or something. Very, very good. I figured it out. This is it, folks. This is the best non-shampoo shampoo that I have used so far and that you may ever use. It's called Rye Flour Liquid. I'm yet to come up with a better name. Rye liquid? Rye? Sounds disgusting. It's a bit weird to sort of create. You feel like you're violating all kinds of rules of life, but it works. And contrary to the previous footage where you saw all the dandruff or rye particles falling out of my hair, when you use a proper sock or something that has a tighter knit fabric than stockings, it works a treat. Yeah, so it did take a little bit of figuring out. And again, if you have any tips on how you do this method, let us know in the comments below. People are searching for, yeah, just the easiest no-poo methods. But I would say I totally rate this method. Oh my goodness, so much better than baking soda and apple cider vinegar and then chickpea flour. So guys, as you may know, I've been rating each of these methods out of 10. And that's based on 6 important characteristics, I think anyway. The first, ease of use. The second, the cost of materials. The third, feelings of cleanliness. The fourth, oil build-up speed. The fifth, texture of the hair. And the sixth, how pretty I feel, because I think that's pretty important. And then last of all, we just rate it completely out of 10, just give it an overall rating. So first of all, ease of use. It's not the easiest method ever. As you go on and you get used to it, it does, you know, you simplify things, you take shortcuts, but overall I would give this a 4 out of 10. It's not the easiest method, it is involved, it is difficult. So yeah, 4 out of 10 for ease. As for the cost of materials, rye flour is cheaper than chickpea flour, and it's also cheaper than buying apple cider vinegar, the other two that I've tried. So I would give this a 8 out of 10. It's probably overall a bit cheaper than drugstore shampoo because you get so much use out of the kilo of flour that you buy, which is probably like $12, $15. So in fact, maybe a 9 out of 10 actually. It's very cheap. It's very cheap. The next is cleanliness, and I would say I'd probably rate this 7. My hair feels clean, it really does. It feels as clean as shampoo after a day. It feels exactly like normal shampooed hair would. It's sort of, I will say that normal shampoo, either method, no-poo or just regular, they sort of have that like, they make your hair feel squeaky clean, but this one makes your hair feel a lot more protected. It's difficult to explain. It almost feels like the second day after you wash your hair, just when you've washed your hair. So it doesn't have that squeaky, like fresh, clean feeling, but it feels clean, and it also feels like you're not stripping your hair of all the moisture you've ever given to it, if that makes sense. The fourth is oil build-up speed, and I have been able to go probably 4 days between washes. However, I will say with this method, it is so good, because with the apple cider baking soda method, and also kind of the chickpea flour, maybe not as much with that one, but especially the baking soda method, you have to let your hair transition. So you have to, you know, wait a week without washing it. It gets all oily and gross, which is fine if you're in lockdown. It's fine with COVID, no problem. But you just feel gross, and then you wash it, and that sort of allows your hair to, transition. It's a complicated process. If you're interested, you can watch my other video below. I go through it and, you know, explain everything to you. So I would give the oil build-up speed, and I guess I'm including transition phase in this equation, an 8 out of 10. Because yeah, it works pretty darn well, and it's convenient and it's easy, and I don't have to go through that awful week of oiliness to use this method. So yeah, probably I would recommend, if you're jumping into no-poo for the first time, this is the easiest method to use in terms of similarity to normal shampoo. So far that I've tried anyway. And then number 5 is texture. The texture of my hair feels completely normal, like it would as I wash my hair with shampoo. It does feel a little more protected and oily in the end, so it's not like squeak clean, as I said. But yeah, that's an 8 out of 10. No complaints with texture, other than if you get the method wrong or you put too much in the length of your hair, it can get a bit waxy. And finally, feelings of prettiness. I will admit I am a fan of the squeaky clean hair feeling, in the sense that, you know, you run your fingers through it and it just like falls like in the Pantene ads, and then the wind blows in slow motion. You don't get that with this at all. So I would probably rate this a 7, maybe 8, probably 7 out of 10. And overall, I would rate this method a 9 out of 10. I'm only rating it a 9 because if you don't get the method right, you get the rye flour pieces, not very fun. And also it's a little bit difficult. But overall, I'm really happy with this method. I highly recommend it. If you're trying no-poo for the first time, or maybe your friend is trying no-poo for the first time, don't use ACV and baking soda. Don't use chickpea flour. Use rye flour. So good. Love it. At least this is my experience. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a qualified medical professional. This is just my opinion. This is a no-risk, highly effective no-poo method that won't strip your hair of all its oil and it won't damage your hair in any way. Very safe, very easy, and very fun. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or you'd like any more tips, let me know in the comments below. As I said, I'll be making those other no-poo videos in the next few weeks, maybe a couple of months. So stay tuned for that. I also have other videos coming to you, including the month that I quit social media. So if you're interested in that, hit that subscribe button below, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. See ya. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
I love the things you do for me, the way you smile and laugh at me, it's true. Yes, I do. I love the way you think and talk, I love the way you move and walk, I do.